This has become an annual tradition. Joe Allen knows all about it. Before I start the report, since we have two new commissioners, a couple of things about the coroner's office. We do not pronounce everybody who dies in Lebanon County, but it's a tradition in Lebanon County. Any ambulance crew that responds to a scene calls the coroner. And then either the family doctor can take jurisdiction. A lot of times they don't, and then we take jurisdiction, investigate the death, sign the certificate. It's not law, it's just tradition. We met with the ambulance crew when I first came into office, and they feel more comfortable calling the coroner, so they're off the hook. So it's just they feel more comfortable, and I don't have a problem with that, because they never want anything to come back and say you never called the coroner and this happened, and so basically that gets them off the hook and puts me on the hook if anything ever turns up. So that's not law.
Dr. Yocum.
Also, cremations in Lebanon County, any cremation of a death in Lebanon County that's cremated is cleared through the coroner's office. So no cremations take place unless the coroner investigates the death and approves the cremation. You weren't here last year. We computerized the office. It wasn't at the beginning in January, after January, maybe in the springtime. So we had to play catch up, so it was a little tough catching up and getting all this stuff entered, but as of this year, everything, well, last year's are entered now, so we're computerized. So anybody who would call and say, do you know when so-and-so died, we'd be able to pop it up in the computer and tell you immediately when they died, what they died from. So it's going to make life a lot easier for everybody. We have a lot of calls, you know, from the news media asking about a certain death. We'd be able to, I'd have to, if they didn't know when they died, I'd have to go back through every file and look through it personally to tell you when they died and what they died from. So, and that was through the commissioners, we were able to do that. These are the totals for the year 2011. Cremations have remained around the same at 440. We investigated 141 natural deaths. That's a little bit of an increase of about 5 from last year. Accidental deaths total 24. We had 18 motor vehicle, 3 asphyxias, 1 all-terrain vehicle. We had 1 tractor accident, 1 fall resulting in death, and we have 2 pending cases out. Those are just from autopsies that haven't come back from the end of the year. In relation to the motor vehicle accidents, 18, you might say that's really not how many we had in Lebanon County. We only investigate the deaths that happen in Lebanon County. A lot of those traffic accidents are transported to trauma centers, and it's the coroner in that county that takes care of that. So you won't see a one-to-one correlation that they had listed in the totals for the year.
So if they go to Hershey Med, it's not on your report.
Right, right. And that's law. We had 1 homicide compared to 4 last year. We had 14 suicides, which is a slight increase from last year. We were on a roll at the beginning of the year, but at the end of the year we didn't have any, which was great. 9 of those were gunshots, 1 train accident, 1 motor vehicle accident, and 3 asphyxias. So those are my totals for the year.
Any trending issues?
Well, with the suicide, we're really worried, and Joanne would remember when we, had some meetings about it. The beginning of the year was unbelievable, and the last 4 months of the year, I think we only had 1. So we're seeing a trend up, but not now.
Is there any demographic, young versus old and so on?
We looked at that, no. In fact, the young for suicides, we really didn't have any high school deaths that that age group. Okay. That it was all in their 20s and above.
Spoke about drug-related deaths.
None.
There were none.
No drug-related deaths, really?
None.
Colleagues has arrived.
This is Doug Livey, for people who don't know Doug.
Good morning, Doug.
Morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Welcome, Doug.
Never been a rift between the coroner's office and any law enforcement office concerning a case that they weren't satisfied with. We should have done more or shouldn't have done more. So, I mean, we all work well together. I can't speak for Graham Hedrick, that's a whole different office, but I can only speak for this county. And it's really tough because that is law, where they die, that's where the investigation takes place. So you run the problem of another coroner's office and a law enforcement in another county. And that's a tough situation. And we decided that to cover our bases, we were going down to Allentown. And it was a little more expensive, but we know that if push comes to shove, they're gonna come up and testify, and we're gonna have a good case. There's gonna be no loose ends.
Degree
This is Greg